Anyway, we're good to go now. Okay, welcome to the show, Brian Fisher, and we'll give it another second.
You need to cut these together and broadcast it.
Dude, it's gonna be good. I've never had so many like bloopers.
This is like
all at the same time.
Michael Scott, right? You know, they give him 2 chances, kind of. She's like, okay, now he's on the line. He's like, oh, okay, welcome. You gotta have a first run, you know.
Yeah. All right, we'll start again. Sorry, son of a bitch. All right, Brian Fisher, welcome, man. That was a little bit of a rough start, but we're going now.
This is the way to do it. You know, this is startup life. This is small business life. That's how it goes.
So true.
Yeah.
So the name of your startup is 10 Athletes. It's a really cool concept, and I'm excited for you to share what it's about, what you do, what you're building.
Yeah, 10 Athletes. It's a little bit different than I know the other guests that you've had on here, so I'm excited to talk about it. It's pretty interesting, and it's very early stage. But 10 Athletes, so it's essentially it's a platform for athletes to go find sports to play against people who are similar to them in ability levels. And how you accomplish that is by playing people and seeing how good you are by winning or losing with people, right? You know, if you're like, 10 Athletes, it's you're going to get rated from 1 to 10, depending on how good you are.
Right.
All right. So you're going to be, let's say, a 7 at tennis. And you say you're a 7, but how are you supposed to know that you're a 7, right? You have no idea. You have to go out and play.
Right.
So you find someone to play, you're a 7, you just randomly pick you're a 7. You go out and you play somebody who's a 7, and you end up beating them by a lot, right? All of a sudden now you're an 8.
Right.
Right. And so by doing that process, by going out and playing and watching your rating from 1 to 10 go up and down, you're going to find about how good you are. You're going to be able to find it and go match people.
Right.
Play people who are similar to you.
Your ratings will fluctuate.
They fluctuate, you know, and the whole idea is to get people playing together who are similar in ability, because that's what's fun, you know. People are always looking for people who are similar to them. That's fun. That's half of it. The other half is competitive, you know. All these there's other platforms out there for people to go find sports to play, but they're not competitive. Like that's a problem, you know. It's sports, it's competitive. You need rankings, all right? We need wins and losses and records and stats, you know?
Already, like the concept already, Ian, you haven't even finished explaining it, but I'm just already stoked on the way you're explaining it right now, because I think everybody needs to, in their life, in one way, shape, or form, try to step into a realm of like discomfort to try to better themselves. And it's almost like if you find somebody who's in your range, that's good, because you're on an even playing field to where it's competitive. And if you win, you kind of get that sense of accomplishment. And if you lose, you get that sense of, oh, I'm going to play this guy again until I beat him. Right.
Got to get better, you know.
Yeah.
I got to improve now. And how do you improve? By playing people who are as good as you are, you know, if not better or whatever, similar to you, right? Push yourself a little bit. And that's how you know, that's how you get better, and that's how you have fun. You know, that's sports. That's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know?
And so this platform that you're building is web-based currently, right?
Yeah, website. Yeah. So right now we're very close. We're about a month or so away from actually having something up and running and working. And it's just the minimal viable product, you know, but it's going to be working. It'll have the base of it. Like it's going to have the rankings, and it's going to have your profile, and it'll show how good you are at any sport in the world. By the way, any sport. Everyone's like, which sports do you have? Any sport. Okay. Any sport. Like you go and you play it, you're going to get rated out of 10. I don't care. Pick a sport.
Is there bocce ball?
Yes.
Okay.
I love bocce ball.
I was just going to throw like some obscure thing at you.
Dude, I played bocce ball 2 weeks ago. Okay. I love bocce ball. All right.
I probably haven't touched a bocce ball for like 10 years.
Oh, dude. I was playing with my dad a couple of weeks ago in Reno. It was good.
Did you win?
Yes, I did. He beat me once. He's 77. He's still beating me at bocce ball and pool. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, no, it has everything. It's got your profile, has your ratings. Let me tell you one last really cool thing about it. This is my favorite part. Okay, this is just my favorite part. All right, and this is already going to be up and running when it's on there.
Okay.
So we do already have it working. We're just getting it online. All right. So we have your profile, you got your and you have the rankings. So on the rankings, we have a rankings for each sport, right?
Right.
You know, tennis, basketball, whatever. And in each of those sports, there's a rankings, and number 1, it says, you know, it has a little C next to your name. You know, the number 2 is 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have the C, and it says best tennis player in the world. I literally just wrote it there. I was like, best tennis player in the world. Like I'm just claiming it, you know?
Right. So, like if you're the number 1 spot.
Yeah. If you're in the number 1 spot, you're the best in the world.
Right.
So like we have that, which is awesome. Like who doesn't want to be the best in the world? I don't care if there's only 100 people on it. I'm going to want it. I'm going to try it for it.
It's like it's analogous to Strava's king of the mountain or king of the hill or whatever they call it. Like whoever like ran that hill the fastest gets king of the hill. But this is beautiful. It goes with any sport.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only other thing that makes this really, really unique that nobody's ever really thought of is
Can you divulge this?
It's called 10 athletes. I shouldn't, but I will just here, okay? Just between us, all right? Nobody's listening, hopefully.
Not that many people yet.
It's kind of the beauty of it. You know, that's if this had a massive audience, I'd be a little bit less candid. I'm not gonna lie. It crossed my mind. Trust me. Like, I mean, there's this whole paranoia that startup founders have of like divulging their secrets, and it's like, no, you shouldn't. You need to talk about this. Like, that's the whole.
Should I get my whole audience to sign an NDA?
Yeah, that's right. Sign an NDA. Better yet, just sign up for the website. All right.
Right.
We need users. But yeah. So what we have that's unique. All right. How good? Let me ask you.
I'm right here.
You, Cody,
I'm right here.
How good of an athlete are you from 1 to 10? I heard you gulp there.
This is like somebody asking you, like, how hot do you think you are?
Right. Hot or not. Thank you.
And everybody is going to say 7.
Right. Yeah.
It's like psychologically what people land on because they want to give themselves some confidence because they don't want to be self-deprecating, but they don't want to be egotistical and douchey. And so everybody always lands on 7. I ask 100 people this. I guarantee you 7 will be the most common answer.
You're right. You're right about that.
I'm going to say 8.
Okay. So 8. And you're picking that because just you're generally throwing sports, you're kind of throwing a number out there, right? And you're probably...
I'm just thinking like a 10 would be a professional athlete.
Yep.
I'm thinking like 9 would be like a active enthusiast athlete. And then like an 8 would be somebody who's in shape and is coordinated and has like an interest in the sport as well, or interest in sports as well. So you kind of have those things going for you, but you're not playing at like a competitive enthusiast level per se.
Yep. No, it's a good guess. And basically when you sign up onto my website, we're going to ask you how good you are at each sport. You're just going to pick a number to start with. Once you play 5 games of a certain sport, of any of them, once you play 5 opponents, actually 5 different opponents, so we make sure it's legit, then you're going to go from the unofficial rankings to the official rankings, all right, which we have the 2 categories, all right, you're unofficial, you're official. Once you play 5 opponents, you become official. So you have an official rating in that sport, all right? Let's say you have 2 sports, all right? You're official in tennis, you're official in basketball.
Okay.
All right, you got an 8 in both of them, all right? Those are going to combine to form an overall athlete rating.
Right.
So you're going to be an 8.08 is actually
overall
what you would be as an athlete.
Right.
The more sports you play, the higher it goes. But it's
probably lower than, I'd have to redact my 8 and say it's probably more of a 6. I'd imagine there's I'm terrible at swimming. Like that would
every additional sport you play, it goes up.
No pun intended. Like swimming would sink my ranking.
Nice.
Yeah.
But no pun intended. Every
actually.
Sport you play, it does go up.
Right.
So
because it's like participation points like is a factor.
It's not participation points, all right? I don't care how much you're participating so long as you've done enough to prove how good you are. That's what matters in that sport.
Right.
That
it's just
said, to be a good athlete, you have to play multiple sports.
True.
You can't just play one sport. You can be a good athlete if you play one sport.
Right.
But you're not going to be
because athlete is a broader term.
Yeah. You have to be good at multiple sports to be the best athlete, in my opinion.
Like a super niche athlete would be like the dude in curling who does the sweeping.
Right.
Like
and
that doesn't
really
mean
good at it. It's like okay,
you're a bomb ass sweeper, but that doesn't mean you're a good athlete.
Prove yourself. You go out. Let's see. Can you hit a golf ball?
I want to mention, by the way, that I'm sucking on a Camelback. Well, like a hydration pack right now. And Brian and I both showed up with this is how we brought our water today by happenstance, and that is just fitting. So no cups on the table today. We're just sucking on hydration packs.
Camelbacks. I'm going for a hike after this one. So
sorry I cut you off.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, basically, I developed the whole rating system so I know it back and forward, and I made it as fair as possible and to show who the best athlete is. And what I was kind of alluding to is that on the rankings page, we do have a ranking for athlete. So because you have a rating. So we have an overall athlete. What does that mean? That means the person at the top is the best athlete in the world. So you're the
best of the best.
The best athlete in the world. That's the title, dude. There's a little trophy that you get.
See, this is going to be very fascinating when you get super high performing. Like when people in the NBA start screwing with this with each other and like, hey, dude, get this app, you know, like a basketball star, right, gets it and like, because like there's already rankings, right, like that exist out there, but like when they can use it as a social platform between each other and then you get it in the professional realm, I think it's going to be huge, especially when they start like if they can like screenshot their like and it save like they're like, I don't know what professional athlete do you think is the best athlete in the world, like an overall best athlete in the world, because we're on topic. So like let's actually I want a real like guess at who that person might actually be.
For me, like, I mean, I'll try to answer that question, but for me, it's somebody who plays multiple sports.
Sure.
And I don't know any professional athletes who play multiple.
Who would be the most capable? So maybe
I think LeBron's going to be able to play football. He could be a tight end. I think we can all agree to that.
He's just an animal.
I mean, he for sure he could play football. So there's that. But you know, how good is he at tennis? Like, I don't know, man. You know, can he hit a golf ball very well? I'm not sure. Yeah, so I don't really know.
This is interesting.
You know? I don't really know.
So it might be so the best athlete in the world might be somebody who's not actually a professional athlete.
Oh, absolutely.
This is the cool part.
Because those are all niche, you know, they're all focused on one sport. It's very, very possible that somebody else is really the best athlete in the world, but they didn't want to focus on one single sport.
This needs to become a challenge.
It is.
To the world.
It is already. You know, if you want to be the best athlete in the world, at least have the title that's on there, then that's what you got to do. You have to.
This is like great, like betting amongst your friends, you know.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
Who's the best?
Yeah.
You know, you can play any of them. You can see, and we have we're going to have a full history of your games. So you can look back.
Right.
You can see your ranking move up and down on a chart.
Right.
A lot of stuff we have in the works, you know.
Of course. Like, so I'm assuming in the works down the road is an app version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
That's going to be sick.
We're starting on the website. It's more scalable. It's easier, faster to build, you know.
Yeah. You know, that's great. I want you to talk more about it. So that's the ranking system.
Yeah.
So you have a ranking in each sport, and then you have an overall umbrella ranking.
Athlete ranking.
And athlete ranking. Can you drop comments? Can you socialize on it?
It's like a it's a platform for athletes, right? So it's a community. It's a platform for athletes. You know, you can find people to play sports with. Is a lot of what we're trying to do. You know. So you can find people to play sports with and everything, but it's also a social media. You know, think like a Facebook. You know, it's
right.
You can do all the things. You can take a picture. You can take a video.
That's good.
Everything like that.
It all goes on your profile.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have 6 main tabs, very similar to Facebook.
Let's hear it.
Right. You have your home page is the main one, right? That's your news feed and all the normal crap that you get on Facebook. You know, the necessary links and just
people
your
you follow.
Feed.
Can you
follow? Yeah,
okay.
Your people you follow.
Got it.
You know, it's just like a regular social media platform, but specific to playing sports.
I love it. I cannot wait.
It's nice, man. I can't wait either. It's been, man, I could tell you just.
How long has this been in the works? I know we're still on tab 1. We're just
whatever. It's kind of, there's not really a clean answer.
Right, but like generally like a year or two,
or
more.
I'll paint you 2 pictures because that's the truth. All right, the truth is that I'm not a technical. I can't program. Okay, I've developed the ability to design because I've had to.
Right.
So I can design, but. And I've been using Figma. It's been interesting learning how to design. But I can design. I've only recruited the other person I work with, my co-founder John.
Right.
He's a technical co-founder, right? So he can actually program. And it's just me and him working on this. I've only had him on board on this for about a year. About a year. Yeah,
but there's a lot of progress that can be made in a year, even with 2 people. Yeah.
And we've been working hard on it, man. We've been working hard on it. So
I feel you.
It's but yeah. So I'm really only going to get real progress when I have somebody coding it, right?
Yeah.
If nobody's coding it, I just have
doesn't exist
coloring stuff on paper. So, yeah, there's been a lot of iterations. It's sort of that's like the concise way to say that's where I'm at, right? Yeah. It's only been a year. Like what happens in this next year, there's going to be a lot because there's somebody actually building it now.
Right.
You know, so there's a lot that's happening in a very short period of time. It's exciting. It's very exciting.
Okay. Back to tab 1, home tab. It's like you got your news feed, all the everything page. Okay. Tab 2. All
right. Tab 2 is play. So it's like if you want to play whatever, that's where you go to play sports. Yeah, you want to set up a game, you want to set up a tournament, you want to set up, you got brackets, you want to set up a league, you want to go find disc golf, you want to find a course to go play on, you want to find people to play with, whatever.
So is the play tab like kind of like discovering or exploring or
do you
searching?
Want to play? The whole purpose of it is to play sports, right?
Right.
that's where you go if you want to play.
Okay, so that's where you're going to go to do the thing.
Yeah, that's where you
Got
go
it.
to set up the games, to
Got it.
find the games to play.
I love it.
That's where you go. So yeah, that's kind of the main. That's the best one for function. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know. That's awesome. So that's where you go to play.
That's the meat
sports.
of it.
Yeah, that's the meetup of it, and
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Tab
3, we got 10 TV.
10 TV.
Yeah.
So this is like posting content, or no?
It's like ESPN for 10 athletes.
Whoa.
Right? I mean, that's any video that you post, it's okay. So like Twitch, for instance, right? Twitch is for gaming.
Yeah.
People watch them play, and then they'll even throw money and stuff like that, right? And they'll make money from it. This, you'll throw your videos on there, and if you're really good in your area and people want to watch your videos in your local area, there you are on SportsCenter, right? This is 10 TV. Like, you get to watch your local people playing sports if you want to, and see how good they are. Scout your next opponent, maybe.
Right.
Like,
so this is different than the homepage news feed, because you might not be following that person, but you'll find them in the 10 TV
it's
tab.
strictly for TV, dude. If you want to watch videos, that's where you go. If you want to watch sports, if you want to watch sports,
okay, strictly for that. Okay, so you're not going to see still images.
No, it's videos.
Got
it's
it.
sports. You want to go watch sports? That's where
TV
you go to
channel.
watch sports.
Yeah.
For people on our program, at least. Yeah.
Now, how does that get curated under that tab? Like, do you search by category, or does it just kind of feed you?
They're all filterable. All right.
Got
all
it.
these tabs have all the appropriate filters to make it nice and easy to find
so
whatever you want.
The people who post the content need to categorize, or like tag.
Yeah, tagging like YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it, Cody. Okay. This is yes.
No, I'm just a nerd, and I'm like into it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it has all the awesome things. Trust me, your mind will go after we have this conversation. You're gonna start thinking about stuff like, oh, dude, I don't know if you thought of this, man.
You're like, I did.
I'm like, yeah, no, it's a great idea. Like,
Yeah. All right, tab 4.
So yeah, tab 4, we got the market. So you'll have the marketplace, dude, and sports equipment, old sports equipment, stuff like that, new, used,
nice.
whatever. So you can post your own stuff,
This is brilliant.
like a Facebook marketplace type of thing. We'll also have the new stuff, you know. So it's like Amazon/eBay /Facebook marketplace, all just for sports equipment.
Oh my gosh.
The only other thing that makes it a little bit different is my favorite. This is sick. Okay, there's so many sick things.
Right.
This is sick. All right, so we also have you can rent. So
Nice.
yeah, you can rent stuff from stores, like a bike or whatever. But what if you have a mountain bike and you want to rent it out to somebody for $50 in a day, and it's cheaper than the store?
Yep.
That's where you do it, and that means that you or I can go out. I want to go paddleboarding, and I don't have a paddleboard.
Right.
Somebody says they have a paddleboard on there. I'm going to go swoop that up and rent it for
I
a
love
day.
this. This is the ultimate solution for yourself, and then you just build the thing and share it with the world, and it's going to be incredible.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty selfish endeavor, I would say.
Yeah.
I just want to play sports, and
Right.
it's very difficult right now.
It makes me want to play sports just listening to it, and we're only on tab 4. What's tab 5?
Tab 5 is Jesus, dude, I'm blanking on it.
Oh, we got home. We got
Oh, dude, the rankings, of course.
rankings
Yeah,
is
rankings.
tab 5.
Yeah, rankings. So
Okay.
that's and the rankings is fully built out. Yes, has all the filters. Yes, has all the stuffs. So you can look like for instance,
Stats.
Yeah,
Stats and rankings.
Stats, rankings. I mean, it's rankings, and then you can look into people's profiles.
Dude,
to see
I have
the stats
so
and stuff
many
like
friends that are going to love this thing, dude.
that. Good, tell them.
I have so many friends that are going to love this.
It's gonna be fun, man. I've been so excited about it for so long. But yeah, the rankings is fully built out. And we'll have all the filters and everything.
Okay. Tab 6.
So tab 6 is just like Facebook on the far right there. You have it's your profile. So that's where you go for your profile.
Nice.
Bang, there you go. Edit it, whatever.
I like the fact that you're thinking in tabs. For example, let's take a platform that everybody is pretty much familiar with, which is Facebook, and it is so actually complicated these days. It's evolved into this behemoth, and it's lost the beauty of what it. Well, trust me, it does a lot of cool shit, but there was something beautiful about the simplicity originally. And it's gone. And if you can, I'm just saying, I appreciate you have 6 tabs. Yeah, but it's like you have 6 tabs, and these are what they do, and enjoy.
Okay, yeah.
It's not like you are trying to accommodate all the things that revolve around sports and you're trying to accommodate for them in an organized way. And I love that.
Yep. I'm just organizing it. It's like cluttered right now. The sports is it's a mess, dude.
Yeah.
It's a mess. And it's frustrating to me because I want to play and I'm seeing all these people who want to play sports and it's just like so much of a pain right now.
You're like, oh, what do I have to join a league? Do I have to do this? What gym offers indoor
week.
soccer? What, you know,
it's such a pain, man. You move somewhere. I mean, like,
then they switch apps for what they use for their rankings, and then you have to learn that, and then a new damn login system, and it's like, so can you get leagues and gyms on board with this and give them? Can you integrate somehow? Have you thought about that?
So really, what I'm doing is I'm just building this so people can make their own. You know, I'm not trying to come from a top down where I'm like trying to bring people, you know, this group over here in, or trying to like make a tournament myself, even if it, you know, other than just doing it for fun, right? But I really want to make this so everybody can do it ground up. You know?
I guess I'm thinking of side loading it into a gym. So like, you know, like to
answer your question, sorry to cut you off, but tennis, like I've thought about that for tennis. So I want to go to a tennis club. That's how I'm going to start. That's a marketing idea, right? So I'm going to go to a tennis club. They have their whole, some of them have ranking systems, some of them don't. So I'm going to go to the ones that don't have it. And then I'm just going to promote it from within there. So yeah, I'm going to go to existing leagues and organizations and see if I can get them to adopt it. There's a lot of fun marketing ideas to this.
I'm just thinking if it's a website, you could build a, well, how would you say it? It's like a page that revolves like stats and rankings, and they could like display them on the TV screens to show like regionally, because if you can filter by region, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, you can.
Right. See, you're on it all. You got this thing down. Yeah. I'm just saying, like let's say you're in Rockland, right, playing indoor soccer, and then, you know, they have chosen to like put up like indoor soccer rankings, you know, regionally. And so you might even be able to find out that in the league you're playing in, like your team, you know, or can you do it by team or is it all individual based?
You can do team as well.
Yeah, that's so sick.
It's sick.
Like to have like real people and their teams be displayed, you know, by the soccer field or whatever. And so you can always see like, oh, that team's kicking ass, you know, and then you'll see like it'll slide and you're like, well, what's that team? Like, oh, they're in the other indoor league. And then you're like, oh, like we should like hit them up and try to play them, you know,
see who's better, you know, the two leagues. And
I mean, it's interesting, man. You're going to find like that any athletes out there are going to be able to find all the other athletes. It's just perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just solves all of the problems of sports, you know, and then some.
Yeah.
But good time to, you guys, you don't have any commercials on your show, I realized. You don't have any endorsements or anything yet? Didn't you used to do Auburn Business Ventures? You used to do, you had these gatherings over at a brewery, right?
Yeah, we still do them virtually.
But you had them at the brewery before.
Yes.
Why not get the brewery to sponsor you, man? Maybe this Auburn Ale House.
Yeah, look at that, dude.
Beer right
I have to go hit them up now. Like, put me on the spot.
Auburn Ale House makes fantastic beers. They make this Gold Digger lager here.
All right, well, I'm going to drink it now.
I just brought one out for Cody
Where the
here
hell
as a
did
surprise.
Where in God's name did you pull this out of?
And here's the other ASMR. There you go.
It's so good.
Yeah, Auburn Ale House, fantastic beer. Maybe
Dude,
they'll sponsor
look at that.
You know?
Look at Brian Fisher coming out. He's like, hey, do you have any sponsorships? No, just you should talk to the Ale House. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Auburn Ale House. It's a local brewery. You used to have meetups at the brewery, so why not have them sponsor you?
Yeah. Here's the thing is we didn't have the meetups at their brewery, but it's okay. Like, fuck it. I support all local business ventures. That's the point of this damn thing. So
that's right. Just a thought. There's also
beer is amazing.
I almost brought Knee Deep over here, but for a 6-pack it was $18. I was like, my God. So I put it back.
It's all good. It's all good stuff, dude. You know what? First person to like try to get us to drink on the show. I never even thought about it before, really.
No, to be full disclosure, I watched This Week in Startups, right? You know,
yeah.
And he just had Coors Light sponsor him. And he's drinking some beer on the show, and I was like, dude, done.
So fun, dude. You know what I love about you, Brian, is you have like a great enthusiasm, you know?
I'm excited.
Like you're excited about what you're doing, and I think that that's like a critical ingredient for somebody's success. just to be damn excited about what you're doing. And just having you talk about it and being excited about it gets me stoked. And it,
appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, it motivates me to want to try your product. And I think everybody right now, here's the marketing coach coming. I'm not a coach, but here's the marketing side of me coming out, which is like, you need to get comfortable being enthusiastic and sharing your enthusiasm with your friends, family, and, peers.
Yeah, I agree. It's, it's a pretty amazing thing. It's been quite the journey getting here, but I'm at a point now where I know what I want to work on for the foreseeable future.
How fantastic does that feel?
It feels so good, and to say that, I can just do it, like, where's the money coming from? Oh man, it's a bad situation. The money situation is not good, man.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm working on what I love, and that's
it's priceless. Some of that's priceless.
I don't care. Like what do I have to? I don't. Whatever happens in the future, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm excited about. This is what I like to do. The more I talk about it, the more I think about it, the more I work on it, the happier I am. And
wow,
it's a good place to be.
Very, very few people, I feel like, get to this point in their life because I think they're too scared to try to figure it out. Perhaps I'm not really sure what prevents a lot of us from doing this, but I feel the same way about Auburn Business Ventures and what we're doing. And do you ever feel like sometimes, like, this is probably going to happen maybe around your family or whatever, do you feel like you just want to like talk about it and like shout it from the rooftops, and you're like, family's kind of like, yeah, okay, Brian.
Yeah, they've been sick of hearing it for years.
Have fun with that little like mini golf thing you're doing. Like you're like,
fun idea. There's so many naysayers, right? It's like, everybody's got a startup idea. Everyone's got an idea.
That's a fun idea.
You just sit there and talk about it anyway. That's what you have to do.
You
and you're
build
like, whatever.
The motherfucker.
I'm just gonna do it anyway.
Yep.
And the journey, I mean, for me has been, because I know I've watched your shows on here and people talk about their journey a bit.
Yeah.
So just allow me maybe just a minute.
I would love it. Let's do it.
And I won't take too long on it, but just to summarize it, it's because it's been just me, right, for about 10 years, realistically, since I came up with the idea.
Wow.
All right. So when I came up with the idea originally, it was in 2010. 10 athletes. All right. Episode 10, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
all right,
that's
so
it.
It really was in 2010. So I graduated in 2009 in a college, Colorado State. And when I got out of there, it just, I was like, I mean, I went from playing 3 to 4 sports a year my entire life, every year without missing anything, all the way up through high school. I went to college, and I decided not to play sports in college, even though like I was good enough to play somewhere, maybe not D1, maybe whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to, because college sports is a shit show, which is another thing I'm going to be taking care of. Okay.
You're like,
it's a problem.
Clean up this nonsense.
I am. I really, don't get me started on paying college athletes, dude. That's going to be so easy to overthrow. Like they're on notice, dude. And like they're on notice. They're done. It's not going to last.
Brian Fisher's coming to lay down the law.
I am. Dude.
Yeah.
I absolutely am. But so I joined a frat in college just because they were known for playing sports, so I was like, okay, I have this people to play sports with. and so I did that, and intramurals was all right, you know what I mean? But like there's a lot lacking there.
Yeah.
And I graduated college, I had nothing, right? It was like I was just sitting in FOCO in Fort Fun, where New Belgium Brewery is. And there was just no sports. And so I was like, this is terrible. And I was like, that's what I need to do. I need to build the network. It dawned on me, and I got this distinct vision of like of a tire with a lot of tread on it, right? Which now years later I realize is called traction, right? It's called, does it have traction, right? And like, if you have a tire with heavy treads, right? Like, it really just was like a something I saw, more than
right. And you deciphered it and took it to heart, and
I was like, it has ability to get people to use it. But so back then I actually I built a website from a website builder, Wixsite or whatever, 10 years ago, which wasn't, they didn't have very great ones then.
Right.
And it was called pickupsports.us. And I just threw it together. It was just very random. There was no rating systems that would fluctuate. It was just super, super basic. And I printed out some business cards. I went out on campus and handed them to like 1,000 people. It littered the campus. The gym got pretty upset at me for
Brian's
doing
enthusiasm.
That. But so I did that, and I just went for it, and it was fun. I even got a few people on it, but then bills hit, and I owe a lot of money to college loans, about $100,000 back then, and today still.
Yeah.
And So I had to get work, so I just started working from job to job, and I always wanted to do it, and I always liked it, and I ended up moving back to Tahoe. I ended up moving to Panama for a little bit to teach English down there. I was just doing whatever it took to pay bills, and I lived at home a lot as well.
Yeah.
I even grew the marijuana for a little while down in Santa Barbara. It didn't really pay any money at all, unfortunately. But I did a lot of stuff, and I always talked about it. And even in Tahoe, there's this amazing volleyball court that's on the beach, ski beach. It's sick, and it's so nice. But it's hard. You can't find game midweek. There's nobody there, especially in the off seasons, the shoulder seasons, in the spring and the fall. There's nobody out. There's nobody there. You can't just go to the beach and play. You have to have this network, and it's not there. So, but anyway, I kept wanting to do it and talking about it. Eventually, when I turned 30, I graduated at 23, and in 7 years, I was just trying to get by.
Right.
Trying to figure out how I was going to go about 10 athletes. It took about 5 years it's about 5 years ago, and where I actually came up with 10 athletes. I was like, I remember where I was when I was. I stopped, and I was like, it needs to have a rating system that moves up and down. Yeah. And it's got to be out of 10 because that's so universal.
Got it.
It's so universal. Like, how good are you at?
Yeah,
I like 10. To ask people, how good are you at soccer? And they're like, I'm like a 7. It's like yes, dude. Like, we need to answer that question. Don't we want to answer it? But when I just about 4 years ago, I moved down to Sacramento because I was in Tahoe. There was no programmers up there, so I was at a lock. Right. I go through the imposter syndrome like everybody does, thinking you're not good enough to do it and stuff. And but I was like, I'm going for it anyway. And I moved down to Sacramento, and which turned out to be a great decision. This is a great place to be for tech. Auburn, Sacramento area is it really is a great place to be. Even Cal Canis on This Week in Startups even talks about it, how it's a great arbitrage. The rent's low, but the community's here. You can go to the Bay if you need to. It really is a fantastic place to be. But so I moved down here, and again, I've just been taking whatever jobs I could get. I could go through the short list, right? I'm not a great employee. I'm a good boss, right? Yeah. And I went to some meetups, right? And figured out I need to be going to tech meetups. And
is that where you met John?
That's where I met Mike.
John's brother.
Episode 1.
Yeah, that's right.
I met Woody over there, and he we went to it was a meetup seminar for how to raise money and stuff like that, and we ended up staying late. It was a long freaking presentation.
I met Mike at my meetup.
Really?
Yeah.
There you
go. Put this together. I met Mike at my meetup probably a year and a half ago. Okay. And then he's amazing. I love Mike. And so then when COVID hit, I was like, hey, Mike, can we use your training app to host my meetup virtually? And he's like, yeah. And then we developed his new product called the Lightning Summit, which is like basically a virtual meetup. And then that is where you came into my life, and John, because that's where I met you two.
That's right.
Can you imagine that? If I never never started that meetup, we wouldn't be here right now talking about this.
Truth.
It's so cool, man. It's so cool, the power of networking, and
it's important. And
just getting out there. Sorry, I derailed you.
There's a lot. There's a lot to say about person-to-person connections and communities. It's so important. It's really the most important thing in life.
So you met John. You met Mike at the tech meetup.
Yeah, we stayed late, and we were both waiting to talk to the guy who gave the presentation, and we were both kind of chilling. He's like, we're just like BSing. Oh, what's up, man? Like, what do you do? Whatever. And he was like, oh, well, it sounds really cool. That's like amazing. And then. We're like, I was like, dude, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, whatever. And then this is good. And then we left, that was it pretty much. We talked, that was cool. Great guy, whatever. And then we leave, I'm driving away. I'm going to meet some friends at the bar in Midtown, right? Sacramento.
Right.
And I'm sitting in my car at a left stoplight in my car driving. And then I hear honk, honk. And I'm like, what? And I look to my right. And there's Mike, dude. Yeah. Hey, man. He's in his car. I was like, I rolled down my window. He's like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, hey. I was like, do you want to go get a beer? I was like, going to the bar, going to Old Tavern. And he was like, all right. He's like, yeah. Like, where? Like, I'll meet you there. I was like, yeah, it's called Old Tavern, And we went there. Actually, we went to the cabin. It was the cabin. That's where we went to. Got it. We went to Old Tavern later. But yeah, that's, he's like, okay. And then we just met there and got a drink, talked. And his brother, John, was a unemployed, programmer
Mm-hmm.
who loves sports. My age, loves a big Sharks fan,
Mm-hmm.
and we got along great and just started working together. And it was easy. It was really easy to start working with him. I mean,
Do you have anything, what comes to mind when you think about what you two have to contribute, like your strengths and his strengths? Obviously he's a programmer and you're not, but besides that, are there other like personality traits that you think are super critical that, are beneficial that you have both of them, not just...
he's more even, than I am. I think he's much more even keel. He can kind of like chill, and I can sit there and say crazy stuff and come up with crazy ideas, and he can kind of like
that's the
mellow it out a little bit.
Dynamic that Charlie and I have too. Like I'll call Charlie up and be like, all right, here's my idea, and he's like, okay, hit me, and it's just I come at him with this world of imagination, and then he's like, sounds pretty cool, how do you want to do it? Or like, this is where we might start. I just love that dynamic,
Yeah.
And it's funny that like sometimes I'm like, dude, Charlie probably thinks I'm crazy. like he probably thinks I'm a lunatic.
Yes.
Because for like a couple of years now, has just been in his ear about all these ideas, and the thing is, it works because I'm not the best step by step kind of concrete thinker. I'm just so out there in imagination land.
That's where I like to live.
Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's nice out there. A little scary sometimes, but it's good.
That's great, man. Cool. What have we covered so far? We've covered 10 athletes, what it is, what it's going to do for the world. We've covered all the little bits and pieces about it, how it started, your story.
There's so many fun things too.
How you met your
I
partner.
could talk for a day
What
about
are we at
all
now?
of the crazy things.
How
I'm
much-
not going to, but
We're coming up on just under 40 minutes.
Oh, cool.
that's Charles in the shadows back there. And for all you listeners,
Well, what
out there
excites you
wondering
about
who that
it?
third voice is.
Yeah, I know. Let's go for like another 20 or something.
Hell yeah, at least 10.
Yeah. Well, so what else excites you about this besides everything?
Man, yeah. What was I had something else, but here's one thing. Like, I just talked about college sports a little bit, like
Okay.
how they're not getting paid.
Okay.
It's and this goes to all sports. All right, professional sports and college sports, all the owners are killing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know that, and they don't publish a lot of their winnings, right? Or a lot of their earnings, right? A lot of the money they're making.
Right.
Is not really published. And you look at all these athletes who are getting paid, right? Everyone's, oh yeah, man, they're making so much money. This guy, if they get $100 million over whatever years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The owners are making way more than that. Okay. The owners of Dallas Cowboys, for instance, right? I mean, he's murdering it. And like, oh, what you feel?
No,
like
it's kind of, now that I'm sitting here thinking about, like, if you watch a college football game, let's say it's on ESPN, right? Does ESPN air college football?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. No, I'm just being clear right here now.
All right. That was a real
ESPN,
question.
as a profitable corporation, is benefiting like crazy by the content that these, athletes are delivering.
Especially the college athletes who aren't getting paid.
Right. That's what the
Absurd.
absurd. It is absurd. It's asinine.
And they're
really.
making some changes, and there's people out there listening going, yeah, but recently they're allowing college athletes to make money off their likeness, which is a small step in the right direction. It's a nice step.
Off of their likeness.
They call it their likeness. It's
The flip does that mean?
it's like jerseys and stuff like that,
Oh my God.
using your name to make money. It's good.
Yeah, you can't
they're
not
making-
sell that. Are you serious? It's like,
before they couldn't.
that's insane. That is literally insane.
It's you get the
That's
feeling.
slavery.
You get it is.
And I could hear them right now, and this is just my imagination. I can hear them. Oh, well, we gave them a free ride.
Right.
They're being compensated for free college. Like, they're not studying, you psycho.
I know. Everyone knows college is overrated these days, right? And everyone's like, oh, college. I mean, it still matters and everything, but like it's getting every year, every day, it's like, oh, it's more overrated. And so like they're getting a piece of paper that's all of a sudden getting less and less value, and they're making millions of dollars for these schools, right?
So you think you can help this problem?
All the money at the top that the owners have of all the athletes, that is way too big. I'm gonna give it to all the athletes.
So you have you think you have a way to do this?
Yes, it's by not being greedy. It's very simple. It's like people ask you like, oh, could you run the country better than you think the current? It's like, yeah, no, it really wouldn't be that hard. You just don't got to be a dick. Like, it's not hard. So it's going to be easy. You know, it just takes non-greed and the desire for athletes to go out and play. And really it's going to be a big disbursement of funds, I hope. I mean, definitely it's going to be going from the top. I'm going to rip all that away from just not being greedy. I'm going to give it to everybody playing sports and producing the content. And I'm just going to make enough to get by and make decent money. You know what I mean? For me and my employees, I'm looking after everybody, you know, don't get me wrong. But
so if a college athlete right now is allowed to make money off of their quote unquote likeness, which is a really interesting phrasing. It's called personal brand, dude. It's called get a following of people that like you and sell shit to them. It's very basic.
I think that's what Reggie Bush got in trouble for was like jerseys, or maybe got a gift or something. But
I mean, look, if it has other logos on it that are trademarked, I could see where that could be like legally problematic. But I'm just saying in general, like, come on.
It's very,
you can't,
very
like,
constricting.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about something constricting. Okay. Here's another sport that I'm very frustrated with that they just made a 30 for 30 on. All right. Competitive eating. Okay. Competitive eating. Okay. If you want to consider that a sport, I'm not sure. I'll probably have it on the website. Right.
I'll humor it for the sake of the podcast.
Dude, watch the 30 for 30. All right. If you know anything about competitive eating, okay, there's only one thing to know. All right. There's two guys who are the best ever at the hot dog eating contest. Okay. And it's 10 years ago, this got really, really interesting. There's a Asian guy. I don't know where he's from. I forget his name. I forget both their names.
But he eats hot dogs.
There's an Asian guy. Yeah. He eats hot dogs well and fast. And he was beyond everybody in the contest by light years. I mean, they'd do a 12-minute eating contest. He would eat like 60 hot dogs, and everybody else would eat like 30, you know? So he was like untouchable. And then Joey Chestnut, okay, I remember he's an American guy. Joey Chestnut comes in and he's like, I think I can do it. So he's like, I'm going to do it. And so he came out after like a few years of just dominance by this other guy. Dominance. He comes in and he really gives him a challenge. He gives him a run. And eventually he starts to beat him. Whoa. So all of a sudden you have this massive rivalry between these two great eating competitors. All right. And nobody's ever been like, this is.
Sounds like a novel the way you're presenting it.
It's literally amazing. And it has an absolutely tragic ending. Tragic. Maybe it's not done yet, but this is where we're at. Okay. So it was amazing. The biggest rivalry in competitive eating ever. And the owner of this hot dog eating contest decides to tell the Asian guy, sorry for just saying that, I forget the guy's name, he restricts him to only eating competitive under his events.
How is he got him into a contract somehow?
He says, sign this contract or you can't eat here. Okay, he says you cannot come to the events unless you sign this contract, which prevents you from going and eating at any other contests under any other organizations. Super, super, super restrictive. All right,
that's shady.
Not very, very shady. It was really sad. That's not American. Okay, like get out of here.
Right.
And there's this big rivalry. You know, this Asian guy starts getting a lot of crap from all these American fans who are like, you know, America, like go back to Japan, or I forget where he's. I think he's from Japan, but
that's terrible.
He which it's frustrating. I forget the guy's name, but he.
Can you Google that, Charles?
Hot dog eating contest.
I'm
best
just gonna
hot
ask
dog
you
eating
to pull that
people
shit up
ever, and you'll get the guys' names. Joey Chestnut and dang. But that guy, okay, watch this documentary because he gets crap. He gets contracted bad. At one point, he shows up to the event he's not even invited to because they're not letting him eat there because he won't sign the contract. He shows up anyway in the crowd. And then the crowd's like, starts chanting his name, right? Because everybody knows him.
Right.
And he goes to get up on stage. The cops come in and grab him, drag him off stage, and put him in jail.
My
like,
goodness.
It is real. And so he...
Takeru?
Yeah. Kobayashi, man. Kobe. That's what they call him, Kobe.
How do you say his first name? Takeru?
Yeah, Takeru Kobayashi. Kobe. He
okay.
He is an absolute scholar and a gentleman and an athlete, all right?
Yes.
He is the real, man. That guy is awesome. And you watch the documentary, man, I almost cried.
Do you remember what the documentary is called?
It's a 30 for 30 hot dog eating contest.
Got it.
Whatever.
Got it.
I forget what the hot dog eating contest is called. It's called like Kevin's Eating, so whatever. But
of course, it's something bland.
but it's sad, man. And like,
Oh,
really, what was frustrating is like where we're at now is he, for the last 7 years, he has not ever gone head to head against Joey Chestnut. Kobe and Joey Chestnut have not gone head to head in eating contests. They don't do it anymore.
is
the
this
two best in the world.
Contract like perpetual, like never ending? What's the deal?
No, he just won't let him eat in his events unless he signs the contract. And he's like, I'm not going to sign the contract because I want to be free.
Got it.
He's like, I thought America was about being free. That's what he says.
Right.
He's like, I thought America was about going out and making yourself, and then people love you for it. And instead, he came here, he killed it, and everybody hated him because he wasn't American. And so I was like, man, that's sad. People rooted
I was about to
against
say,
him.
by the way, you shouldn't
upsetting.
hate people because they're not American.
Oh, it was
Kind of makes
sad,
you
man.
kind of an asshole.
It was
Let's just
sad.
say it.
He's an absolute like gentleman, dude. The guy was really honorable, and so that's sad, man. That you're talking about.
We got eating contest phenoms, and we got college athletes. It's like
Oppression from the top, dude. That's what the problem is. It's
Oppression.
oppression from the top. It's greed from the top. It's so easy to get rid of. Like,
so can he?
man.
Why doesn't he? I think he should start his own dang.
He did. No, he did. He still eats, competitive and everything.
He still eats. That's good.
But
Yeah.
it's back in. He does it mostly back in Japan, and he puts on his own events, and he gets by just fine. And he said he's never felt freer, and it's great to hear, but it's also just sad. You know,
Yeah.
like he got really pushed away, and that's what we get across a lot of sports, man. I mean, you can go from organization to organization and be like, wow, dude, like they're terrible. They're terrible. They're terrible.
Right.
I mean, who likes FIFA anymore, right? Oh my God, right? I mean,
but what your platform offers is inclusivity
and fairness and
Yeah.
openness, you know.
Hey, man, if you're a 3, there's other 3s out there.
Go play them.
Go play them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as you get more elite athletes, the 10 is going to become different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to all change. You know, the more people that get on, the numbers are going to start to kind of change a little bit. You know, the rating system will get a little bit different from here to here. Man, let me tell you, developing the rating system took so many sleepless nights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you possibly come up with a system that makes it so your rating from 8 is going to move up or down a little bit depending on who they play? What if an 8 plays a 7.5?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
how does that change?
Right, you're coming up with basically
Man,
algorithms, right?
It's an algorithm. But I'm not a math major. I did political science. How am I supposed to come up with a rating system?
Oh.
So it was just a absolute challenge, and because I wanted it to be nice and good and clean and easy to understand and functional and also fun, enough fluctuation to make it fun, but not too much to make it not accurate.
Okay.
Those are the two poles.
Okay, I feel you.
You know, because you want it to be like, oh, whoa, I won, and now from a 7, I'm a 7.3. Like, whoa, it went up actually quite a bit. But
Right.
also, if it goes up to 7, like in 8, then you're like, oh, okay, this isn't really accurate. Why am I out here really working hard to improve my rating when it doesn't mean anything?
So of all the problems
Hard.
that what you're building, what your platform can solve, what's the one that is like pinnacle for you? Or I don't even know if you think about it that
For me,
way.
it's just easily being able to go play sports.
So hooking people up with sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like there's other apps that have tried to do that, but they've missed out on the competitive nature of athletes.
I think that's a
Somehow.
very, very important thing to build into it. So
Yeah, I mean, people say I'm competitive, all right, and I can get competitive and everything, like, but
passionate.
I get passionate, I get competitive. I love playing sports, but I'm more than happy to go out and just throw a football around or like play, because you don't have on this, when you go and you play somebody, you don't have to play for competitive. You can play just for fun.
Like you can just hook up, play some sports, and then go home, and you don't have to keep score if you don't want to.
No,
but if you want to record
it
it
for fun, you can keep score, but just have it just be for fun. You know, you can play for fun or for real. Like I love going out to the beach and playing volleyball and just hitting it around and keeping score, but we don't have to like put it on the
How do you deal with conflicts of like reporting? Have you thought about that yet?
Yellow cards and red cards.
Oh, like so if like he reports that the score was different, you like yellow card him or something?
Realistically, like yes, and like it's not fully mashed out, but like there's kind of a lot to be said about this area. But What I'm not going to do is get people to rate each other on how nice they are. Okay, so that's not what I'm doing.
Right.
Nobody's getting a rating for how cool they are and how.
I'm just wondering. It's like, do you void the match if there's two different recordings for the same match?
Okay, so that's kind of a different question. When there's different recordings, when there's one person says they won and the other person says they won, then they just cancel out.
So it voids it.
It just voids it.
Yeah.
Down the line there may be like let's review the video, or maybe a group of people will vote on. Something.
Is there
like
witnesses?
That,
yeah.
Right, but for now it's just like no, but that's just not going to happen very often. And when it does, we're just going to cancel it out.
Yeah. Which is no good for either of them.
Yeah, it just does nothing. It'll just do nothing.
Yeah, that's a good way to go. That's awesome. I love it, dude. Thank you for coming on the show. I think we should wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Cap it on the end note there. Brian is bringing athletes together and making it easy.
Yes. Try to be the best athlete in the world.
10athletes.com. So what are we?
Yeah, 10athletes. And you can spell it either way. 10 or TEN. I mean, it's 10. All right. That's how I do it. But I do own the domain of tenathletes.com as well.
So it'll work.
Throwing that out there.
No, that's great. And what are we in mid-July right now? So you're hoping in about a month or so we can start tinkering with this
It's going to be absolutely core functional. Mm-hmm. So like rankings work, your profile will work. You'll get the ratings out of 10
I'm
in
hopping
every sport.
on it.
The athletes thing, it all already works right now.
Right.
That those things actually totally work right now.
Right.
It just looks terrible, which is sort of fun for the time being.
Right.
And then also it's not online.
Right.
So we're working right now to get it online.
I'm super excited. I want a DM from you when this thing is up.
Yeah, and there is I should note if you go to our website 10athletes.com, then you'll see a link. It's very obvious right there that says email me when you launch.
Oh,
so if you want to get on the email list, then throw your email in there. I'm not going to spam you. I don't care. Like I'll email you when we launch.
Right.
And then maybe like every couple months when we launch a crazy new feature.
Dimension.
There's so many interesting things I could go on, but yeah.
I think we should leave. I think we should.
You got to get a sign off, Cody. You got to get a sign off.
Yeah. Out. Yeah. I was just thinking we should do another recording maybe in like 6 months or a year from now.
Yeah, no, I'd love to.
People are going to want to follow up on this.
It's going to be really fun. It's exciting. It's new. It's brand new, so there's going to be a lot of interesting build to it.
All right, man.
This is good.
I love it. Cheers to 10 athletes.
Hey, yeah. Cheers. Cheers. Thanks for having me over here, man.
That's it.